Welcome back to Real Estate This Week, the online news channel for those of you who call Staten Island home. This is Hannah J. with realestatesiny.com. There are a number of preparations being made in response to FEMA's update on their flood maps, so stick around for the latest updates. On June 10th, the Federal Emergency Management Agency released their preliminary work maps for our city, which will replace the advisory-based flood elevation maps provided by the agency earlier this year. The agency claims that the maps show the best available flood hazard data since they were created using more accurate data. Preliminary flood insurance rate maps, which will determine flood insurance rates, are expected to be released in 2015, which means that in the interim, homeowners can use these new preliminary work maps as a guide for rebuilding. You can view the updated map to see which zone you have been placed in by visiting www.region2coastal.com. The following day, on June 11th, Mayor Bloomberg gave a speech on the city's long-term plan for battle against climate change. The basis of the speech was to introduce a stronger, more resilient New York, a 430-page report by Plan NYC. During his speech, the mayor announced that since the waterfront is one of the city's greatest assets, the plan is not to abandon it just because of the potential risks it poses to residents, but to instead protect it and build it stronger. Just before stating this, however, he mentioned that 800,000 of the city's residents currently reside in the floodplain. On Staten Island's east and south shores alone, there are 9,240 residences in the floodplain area shown in FEMA's new preliminary work maps. The report outlines numerous initiatives for coastline protection, buildings, critical infrastructure, and community and economic recovery. You can read the report on the city's website by visiting www.nyc.gov. The federal government will be supplying the Staten Island Ferry with its necessary relief funds. According to Senators Charles Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand, the New York City Department of Transportation will be receiving $21,889,326 in relief funding from the federal government. The announcement was made this past Wednesday, on June 12th, and informed the public that over $14 million of the relief funds will be used for the Staten Island Ferry. This funding will be used to reimburse the Department of Transportation for repairs and emergency operating costs made during and after the storm, and to also allow the agency to rebuild their facility so that it is better protected for future storms. The remaining funds will be used for projects such as those managed by the New York City Economic Development Corporation. The Stapleton Library has reopened to the public. On April 15th of 2010, the Stapleton branch of the New York Public Library closed down for a full renovation. After an addition of about 7,000 square feet, the library reopened this past week on June 11th. Originally, the building covered about 4,800 square feet. With the $15 million renovation and expansion, the library now contains a community room, a children's room, lounges, and more. It also has internet access along with 50 desktop computers. The Stapleton branch of the New York Public Library sits at 132 Canal Street. Ground has finally been broken on a long-awaited senior housing facility. Since the latter part of the 20th century, city officials and residents alike have been advocating for senior housing near Staten Island's Seaview Hospital Rehabilitation Center and Home. Environmentalists opposed to the plan, stating that the vacant land chosen for the project should be preserved as parkland. 15 acres of land were finally agreed upon in this past decade to be used for the facility. On Monday, June 10th, construction began on the Brielle, which is set to open in 2015. It will be comprised of 188 assisted living beds, along with 213 condominium units being constructed at a later point. The primary building will be comprised of 103,000 square feet, and an additional 11,500 square foot building will be used for recreational purposes. An existing building will also be used for visitors. Here's the latest update on residential construction for Staten Island. On the North Shore, a one-family detached home will be constructed in the New Brighton area. On the South Shore, Princes Bay will also be seeing a new one-family detached home built in its neighborhood. Nearby, in Woodrow, 16 two-family semi-detached homes are to be constructed. And now, for our upcoming events in Staten Island. On June 26th, the Staten Island Heart Society, a nonprofit organization, will be hosting its annual wine festival at the Excelsior Grand. The event will consist of 150 wines, raffles, an auction, and more. It will take place between 6:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. Tickets cost $100 and all proceeds will go toward the Heart Society. For more information or to purchase tickets, you can contact the Heart Society at 718-351-3115. On June 27th, the Sundog Theater will be hosting its annual fundraiser at Temple Israel, which is located at 315 Forest Avenue. Tickets for this event are $50, though a table of 9 costs $450. The fundraiser will be held from 6:30 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. Proceeds will be used toward the educational arts program within Staten Island schools. For more information, you may call 718-816-5433, or you can visit the Sundog Theater's website at sundogtheater.org. On June 29th, Borough President Molinaro will be hosting the annual Celebrate America event, which we have been telling you about for the past few weeks. Unfortunately, the event will not be held at Wolf's Pond Park like it usually is, since the park still has to undergo repairs. Instead, it will be held at the Midland Beach Sea Turtle Circle at 6:30 p.m. Here's the latest update on park closures for Staten Island. Lieutenant John H. Martinson Playground, Midland Playground, and Tottenville Shore Park are all closed to the public. The playgrounds at Conference House Park and Faber Pool and Park are also closed. The barbecuing area at Wolf's Pond Park is closed, and both the beach at Wolf's Pond Park and at South Beach will be closed to allow for construction on the shoreline. South Beach will only be open on Saturdays and Sundays until work is complete. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our blog on trendingsiny.com, and also check us out on Google+. Once again, this is Hannah J. with realestateSINY.com.